Hello and welcome to the Yeg Show with Tia DMO. So excited to introduce our guest to you. I've got a small introduction, which I'm just going to go on ahead to read. Before he became the executive director of the Africa Center, he managed Alberta's provincial affordable housing strategy implementation in Alberta. He also worked at he also worked for Alberta Health in different capacities, and he worked for the United Way Alberta Capital Region and Edmonton's Multicultural Coalition Association. He has a Master of Public Health with specialization in global health from the University of Alberta, Canada, and an undergraduate degree in health science and social services from University of South Africa. He is Sharif Haji, and he joins us tonight to take questions about the Africa Center. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the Yeg Show.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here on the show tonight.
I read that introduction from your profile on LinkedIn. I was just wondering, can you tell us a little more about yourself? Because obviously there are some gaps in there. How did you get into the leadership at the Africa Center?
Well, yeah, you've already mentioned a bit of my bio, but I will speak a little bit of how I got into and then into the current role. So I'm a father of three wonderful kids, two girls and a boy, a lovely wife, and I joined my family here. My wife was here before I came to Edmonton, and she was the one who decided to make Edmonton our home, and I never regretted about it. It was the best decision that she always makes a good decision. So that was the best decisions that she have ever made, I will say. And then when I came here in 2011, then I did right away started doing my studies on global health with the School of Public Health here. And it was something that was informed by my passion around the issue of equity. So that was the stream that I was dealing with when it comes to the issue of equity within the population as far as health outcomes is concerned. After 2 years of studying, I went right after I finished. I did briefly work with United Way and then worked with Edmonton Multicultural Coalition in different capacities while I was still in school. I also then moved into the provincial government, worked in the public sector, where I was working on the arena of primary health care. For about 2 years, almost close to 3 years. And then after that, moved into the leading provincial affordable housing, which is a different ministry, seniors and housing, for about close to 2 years. Then the opportunity of the Africa Center came up. It wasn't the first time. It was the second time that I saw that the position was vacant and the board was looking for somebody to take the role. Well, I knew the organization and it is important, the niche it had for the community. It had a little bit of a challenge in terms of leadership. So I thought maybe I will jump into this and then see what changes I can make. So it was a combination of an opportunity, and it was a combination of feeling that somebody needed to step in and lead to the organization to where it's supposed to be in terms of serving the African descent communities in the province, which is a large community and it's a growing community. So I thought jumping into it, and then so that's how I ended up in the role. It has been a year and I will say 8 months for now. That was September 2019 before COVID. So I'll talk about the rest of what COVID meant to me in terms of in that role. But that is how I ended up in the role, and a wonderful board of directors who were part of the group that recruited me. And I've been supportive in my role to take the organization to a different level.
Sometimes when we talk about Africans, we think 950 million, we are now people who cannot get themselves organized. Is this your experience at the Africa Center? Do you find us the people who are amenable to change and to your leadership?
I think it is a combination of, yeah, that it could exist, and I think let's not be underestimate that the continent was the latest to countries were the latest to achieve their independence, and then with that it comes some challenges of managing different countries on the continent, and then I will say it's not the right characterization to put all of them and say that they can't manage themselves, and it has been a misconception that has been used for a while. I haven't seen that. Of course, in any different groups, you will have challenges, cultural challenges, different challenges. African descent populations are not the same. They come from the same continent, but they are not the same culture. They don't have the same religion. They don't speak the same language. They are completely different populations who share some sort of a cultural pieces, but not entirely the same. So there will be some challenges, but I have seen a lot of support. I cannot deny that. There were some challenges in terms of streamlining a few things here and there, but overall, the support that I received since I moved to the role was something that I cannot describe in one word. People have been extremely supportive of the direction where I wanted to go with the organization, knowing that such a support will translate into the vision that I wanted to see with the organization within the given time that I am the role.
It seems to me when we talk about the Africa Center, it means a lot to different people. For some, it means food at the food bank. The ongoing vaccine program, it means getting a shot. For some, it means equipment and money. What is your vision? You just talked about vision. I want you to talk about what your vision is for the Africa Center, what the Africa Center means to Africans in Edmonton. And is the Africa Center just in Edmonton, or we're going to begin to see Africa Center in Toronto, in Ontario, in Calgary, and so on and so forth?
I'll come back to what it means. It means an organization that serves for this given population. So I'll go back my story. When I came here in 2011 January, I submitted a request to the Africa Center at the time, and my request was to get engaged. So it's a platform, it's a place where people. The first things when people come to a country, there are a few things for the newcomers. I will speak to for the rest as well. But for the newcomers, when people come to a country, before they come, there are a few things that they check. Of course, they check the economy, the living, and all those kind of factors that Edmonton has and Alberta has, that Alberta presents. But there are some others that it has. So what it is that people look into the social capital. So do I have communities there? Would I be somebody alone that's living in that area? So how am I going to connect with the community? And the sense of belonging, the sense of association, the sense of being part of a group, the sense of somebody that you could relate to, that can help you navigate through. So those are a few things that people will be starting. I myself started that before I came. So when I came, I have submitted an application to Africa Center to be part and to get involved. It didn't work because of for so many reasons, maybe that there was no opportunity, and maybe there was not. But I initiated in terms of region. So it means that to people. Every day I meet people and people call me about issues of African. So I get my emails get bombarded. Hey, do you know about our participation Edmonton music festivals? Do you know about how we can participate? I picked a call yesterday from someone who wants to come from Vancouver and saying that they want to move there. I wanted to talk to you a few things before I move there. So it means that the first door that they knock, I would say. Many people don't go through in settlement and related stuff. Many people don't go into where you think. Even if you're going to go to where you think, that you need to know that, okay, when I go there, who do I need to connect with? So that's where I will say. So programs and services are methods, are kind of instruments that the Africa Center use. But overall, it's kind of like the first door. That's my vision, where people will knock and say that, hey, this is what I want to do. how can I get support on this? This is what I want to offer. Like, people are two. There are some who wants to offer services, and there are some who want to receive services. And both of them as a place that they come and then say that this is what I want. I want to deliver, or this is what I want to receive, or this is what I want to get. How do I get it? Back to your question on the issue of, in terms of coverage, or where do we see? So the Africa Center is a provincially mandated organization. We're registered in the province of Alberta, but we have been very successful in terms of having a very positive, good, wonderful relationships and partnership with the city of Edmonton and its leadership. But we were not able, I shouldn't say we were not able, but we did not do the same for the rest of the province. So whether it is in Calgary, whether it is other cities, or and towns in our province, we haven't done that. We will see some changes in that. We will see our presence of the Africa Center, like a presence. We have some programs run here and there, but a real presence in Calgary. We will see similarly presence in other places in the province.
And I have to say, I watched the campaign, the Face Coalition thing where Mr. Justin Trudeau was on, and I was so proud to be an African because you mentioned your name. The people who made up the coalition were Africans, Tiffany, and the rest of your team. I felt so proud. Like, we have leaders who actually care about us, and that was what I felt when I was watching that media release. And same with what you do with Ladies Corner. We feel seen, we feel recognized, and I want to publicly appreciate your support for everything you do, for seeing us, and for the equipment we have recently purchased. I want you to talk about your programs. What are the different strands? Forgive me, I thought that your youth arm was a huge department because I came to the Africa Center, I went on the top floor, and the youth people there were giving out bags of food to students. This was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so I assumed you had the powerful mobilized group of youths, but no, it was just one person who supervises that department. So I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, my goodness, Africa Center is taking over the city. Look at what their youths are doing. So please, can you describe to us the different aspects of the programs you do at the Africa Center?
Yeah, we well, I'll go back to what our mandate is. Our mandate is inclusion and a sense of belonging. Those are the things that we want. We want African descent populations in the province feel included. We want them feel a sense. We want them have a sense of belonging. So that inclusion, it seems to be simple, but it's not. It's not an easy thing. So inclusion from various aspects. So to deliver that mandate, we deliver that mandate through our programs and services. Over the years, the programs and services of the Africa Center have been from early childhood development to all the way to seniors from a demographic perspective. And then within that, then you have different segments within these demographics of needs in terms of programs and services. So I'll take the youth as it's a one department and a whole, one of the biggest areas because of we prioritize it. We think it is like investing our youth and our young populations will inform what our future demographics of our province will look like. So that investment is in preventative services that will avoid them fall into the traps, but also something that will move them to the next level. So we do run programs that are geared towards a mentorship and leadership support. We do run programs that are geared towards inclusion and addressing some of the support needed for youth that are in post-secondary education. We do programs that address during the gap, which is the out of school time or during the summertime. And then we also provide scholarships for those who show an excellence in the community leadership, but also as well as who show people who show their financial hurts in terms of the academic world. And then we look into it not only through the education piece and support on that, but those who want to venture into the world of work, we do try to find jobs for that. And then that is through our employment programs and services. But on top, like, these are some of the snapshot, and I'm not, to be very honest, I'm not doing justice if it's not by the team that runs the programs, not the one that's presenting. But this is in a nutshell some of the programs. So one of the components that we have within the youth is you probably heard about the YEG, the Come Up, which is a collective youth platform that runs its programs, that runs its services, runs its initiatives and directions and the vision that we want. The Africa Center is enabling that capacity for them to be able, facilitate that for them to be able to do what they want to do. And it has been so successful. I cannot, I wouldn't do justice to describe them in 2 words in terms of what are some of the things that they have achieved over the years, and so proud of the work that they do. So so those are the youth programs, but we do have other programs that address others as well. So we have seniors programs that are run. During the COVID response, we had to do extra work on some other response geared programs, whether it is providing mental health counseling. As you know, it's difficult for those of us who are not able to pay out of pocket, and for those of us who are not able to have the coverage when they need a psychologist. It's not covered in our health coverage. So provincially, it's not covered. So you have to either do out of pocket, or you have to have a coverage from your employer or something like that, which is not available for many of our communities. So that we do run mental health programs that support that. But the point is, we also do that through our in collaboration with our communities. So we have quite a number of mental health or other related professionals who provide counseling services. So through that, it has been a success. It was some of the things that we started during the campaign, and it's done through the Alberta
Black
Therapist Network. Yeah, that's it. So and there's a meaning behind that, because of we want them to do that in a way that is culturally informed, so people don't have to explain, oh, in my hometown, this is what I used to do, this is the challenge that I'm facing. So that alone takes time. So you don't have to pay that time that you have to explain your cultural background to the therapist. But we have a wonderful professional, capable people from Alberta Black Therapists Network that we work with in terms of delivering that. And then I can go on and then talk about the response that I wouldn't take the credit for Africa Center, the response that the community organized in terms of providing food. So quite a number of African diaspora community individuals, members of organizations, academics, have been mobilized by one of our community leaders, Nikoni, to say that, okay, we need to do something like this. And then I feel honored that they come to the Africa Center and say that we need to do this through the Africa Center, and we need to do to utilize the Africa Center as the hub that will provide this response. And then again, when the vaccination started, then again we have to again step up and then provide some of the support that's needed for our people to get us vaccinated as much as possible. So yeah, so I can go on the programs, but these are some of the things that I wanted to highlight for the sake of time.
You've done very well. We still have quite a bit to cover. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this. I don't know. But a question is coming from Mrs. Sekbe, and she's wondering what support the African Center gives to Africans who are exploring politics, and how the African Center encourages Black people in education to sign up as teachers and in education management. What are your thoughts on this? politically sensitive.
The question has two. If I please correct me, the first part is civic engagement, political participation, and the second part.
How do we increase the participation of Black people in education and in education management? Yeah.
So I will say that I'll start with the education, then after that come to the other part. So the education one, in 2019, there was a window period where we relaxed because of the COVID numbers were low, and there was a bit of relax in terms of restrictions. So I had the opportunity to meet with the public school superintendent, and I had a conversation with our superintendent, Daryl Robinson, on the idea the concern of not enough Black or African descent, whatever terminology you use, not enough of them are in the education world. And it seems that there is a recognition. I had the same conversation with the school board trustee chair, Tricia. And the idea is that there is a sense of understanding that, yes, we need to do some work on that. The second piece that the conversation we have raised was the issue of race-based data collection in the school system. Like, how would we know that the number of children who are not completing the high school successfully? So how do we know that certain populations are not disproportionately impacted by non-completion rates? So that conversation we had, of course, it's not because of that, but coincidentally, the public schools have been, the school board has been working, and they have been asking collection of race-based data. So I was lucky to be part of a wonderful brains of people that were part of the a council that was put together to look into that and provide the support that is needed by the public schools. What that led to was that the idea that we don't have enough Black teachers in the schools, and this has been talked over and over, and then that conversation is still continuing. I'm speaking with you, but within this week, there was a new school that was being opened. That's being opened in September High School. When I get to know that, I had to submit 5 resumes that I had from Black communities, and saying that, see, these are the people who need to get opportunities in the school system. So, like we have to continue working on that. I can tell you that there is a recognition. What I can also say is that there is quite a number of a lot of pressure on that front that is being asked, saying that there is no enough Black teachers in the system, because of it's the best that you could do. If you want to address the issue of race, the issue of completion for certain high school for certain demographics, the issue of building a relationship between the schools and the community, the issue of communities participating in your schools, all of those things are what our systems will produce. And if you put a system that is equitable, that is diverse, that has the representation of many people, then you are able to do that. And I don't think that there is lack of enough Black teachers in our province. We just need to do something about it. And there is, I'm hopeful that what I will say, I don't know how it will go, but what I'm based on what I've heard from the leadership is that they're working towards that.
Is there
the second question? The second question is the civic engagement. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The civic engagement piece is an interesting piece. Yes, the Africa Center will be doing some work around discussion on political participation on 2 fronts. So you either increase the number of people who are running for offices. If you do that, you increase the number of people who are participating in the politics, whether it's volunteering, because there are people who either look like them, or they know, or they're related, or whatever it is. So that is known to have triggered factors that will increase civic participation from the public perspective. So we also need to educate the public in terms of the role that they have in whether it is school board or municipal participation, whether it's a voting perspective. So we'll be doing some work around that. I still have to work around the technicalities, how that will work. We want a diverse leadership and governance structures, whether it is our city halls that makes the policies, or whether it is our school board trustee that makes the school board policy, the school policies that run our schools. So both of them, it is something that we'll be working in the months to come. I know that the election is coming, but I know it's not now, so there is still time. And the idea is that I believe that it has to be the right time. We don't want to educate now people, and then later on, when it is to the election time, they don't know what it was or they forgot. So we want to target it when it is the right time, the right information that can have a significant impact on the civic participation.
A follow-up question I have there, thank you very much, is can we get the provincial government to provide incentives for Black people to train as teachers?
I don't know, but I will say that I need to understand why. Like, it's not because of there is no enough. Like, as I said, like, my understanding and people that have been involved significantly into this tell me that there is not fewer number, or there is not. It's not because of lack of enough pool. There is enough pool of teachers, but also there is enough number of teachers who are unemployed, unfortunately. So, so if the question is that we want to increase the pool more than it is now, yeah, of course, we need to understand what are some of the challenges and then figure out what can be done on that. We cannot do as an organization that much, but we could. It could be one of the areas that if the community says that this is something that we need to do, then we'll have to work around that.
It seems to me a very huge burden to place on the capable shoulders of Africa Center, but you know, there's just a lot on your. I just wonder how you sleep at night because our problems never end. I've got some more questions for you. Today marked the end of your vaccine program, if I understand correctly. Will you be bringing that back as it's been very popular?
Yeah, we'll be moving with the second round. That first round was to increase the uptake of the first dose, and thanks to the partners who have been involved in this, C5, the Boyle Health Center, the Edmonton Mennonite Center for Newcomers, the Edmonton Community Foundation. So quite a number of partners, they put efforts together in terms of putting not only the clinic that we have at the Africa Center, but so other clinics in different places they manage. So the idea of this collective effort was to increase the uptake, and thank God we reached the 70% mark, which the Premier has announced today that there will be a full opening. But we believe that people, like I shouldn't say we, I believe that people need to take seriously their second dose. So we shouldn't celebrate and say that we have done it. So what we will be doing with the partners we have agreed is to do the second round as well, which means that we want to beef up the second dose uptake. So yeah, so I have done my second dose today. It's good, and I encourage others to do the same.
That's very, very good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
We're going to move on to take one or two questions about Face Coalition. It's a brilliant initiative, but do you feel that this initiative will keep Africans and Black people further in debt?
Well, I don't think so. I think the fundamental problem that we are trying to address with Face is there are three things that Black entrepreneurs face. One is capacity issue. So we need to do something around on that. And thanks to the current federal government, they stepped up, recognized, and they're doing something around that. Second piece is the idea of coaching and mentorship. So how do you connect different bustles of the business or entrepreneurs to the mainstream so that they are able to move on? So that's number two. And the third one is the capital. So I call them the triple C. So it's the capacity, it's the coaching piece, and it's the capital access. So the capital piece is what faces trying. So many people do not have access to capital when they need. You need to have a startup. You need to have a scale up. You need to grow your business. You need to make your business bigger. But if you don't have that capital injection to run the business, then you're not able to do that. And a lot of Black entrepreneurs were not able to access capital. Many reasons. It could be the systems, and we can't deny our systems have problems of treating people differently. And these systems include systems that are outside of the public services or public system, which is the private sector, the financial institutions, the banks, where the resources are. So if we don't address and navigating through that businesses will not be able to get the loan they need, especially now when you want to recover and then bounce back in terms of increasing their capacities, in terms of coming out of the COVID ramifications. So I don't think it will put them in debt. I don't think at all. If it will do something, what it will do is that it will enable Black entrepreneurs grow, and it will yield to wealth. The problem, like I give you an example, the wealth of, because in Canada we don't have that data, the wealth of average Black American is 17,000. Think about that. 17,000. The wealth of the counterpart white Americans is 170,000, 10 times wealth. And wealth is not something that is an income one time. It's an accumulation of resources that goes to generation to another generation. So your wealth is impacted. Your wealth is informed by the wealth of your parents. Not all, but mostly. So that is generation to generation that will affect. So what FACE is trying to address is access to capital to create wealth in the long run. It's a starting point. There will be some sort of bumps on the road, but eventually the trial is to make to enable access to that capital, which will strengthen the participation of Black populations in Canadian economics.
I understand it's a pot of about 230 million. What happens when that pot dries out? That's my first question. And on the coalition, in 5 years' time, what do you think will be with this initiative?
So we don't think so. This is just the start of the commitment in the first phase. But the thing here is that this is a loan. It's not a grant. It's a loan, right? So that money will be coming back. So the pool and will have resources that will continue supporting Black entrepreneurs. So there will not be any limitations of why that will happen. So the idea of like the banks provide loans on a day-to-day basis, as like this is the way the economy is built in this part of the world, but that doesn't come to an end. We don't say that the banks will run out of money. No. So this will be the same. There will not be lack of resources available. We just need to put the systems and infrastructures in place. In terms of vision, Our vision is to see a strong Black economy in Canada, which will be Canada's economy.
Strong Black economy. That's awesome. It's my final question, sir. When you look at Africans, when you speak to Africans day in and day out, what are the two top problems they bring to you? And talk to us about Africa Center's achievements this past year in a nutshell.
The top two things, I'll say the first one is issue of it's hard to pinpoint into two, but I will say the issue of race and race relations comes over and over. It affects everything. People will think that it is a small thing or it is one issue. It's not one issue. It's a multifaceted issue that affects every aspect of life. You have asked the question of political participation. It affects your political participation. If you wanted to do a business, it affects your economic participation. If you wanted to get an employment, it affects your employment participation. If you wanted to go into education, if you wanted to go into leadership, continue. So it affects every aspect of our life because the systems have an impact every aspect of our life. So that is something that comes over and over and over all the time. Your second part of the question was, if you don't mind,
your achievements.
Okay, our achievement over the past year, we were able to. This is one I would say that yes, so proud that that myself, my board, the Africa Center team. We made through the pandemic, and we had a major issue throughout the pandemic since March 2020. So I'll say that has been a great, and we're so grateful that we had a team dedicated to doing the work, but at the same time who kept the protective factors in play as far as public health restrictions is concerned. As far as achievements is concerned, we were able to participate and provide response to our communities during the pandemic, but we were also able to maintain and continue the support that we were providing, change the modality of services that we do. So that has been a big achievement. Well, the Africa Center was part of the efforts that created the FACE Coalition, the first national entity that the federal government provided the support needed to be an entity that will administer the loan for Black communities or Black entrepreneurs. So those are some of the achievements. So for the last 1 year, we had a governance audit that was public, done by the city of Edmonton at the Africa Center. We were able to close that. We have revamped the organization in terms of membership, of any other aspects, with the support of our communities and leaders. So I will say that it's countless. You have asked me a couple of them, but I will say that from a governance perspective, we have done great. From an economic inclusion, we have played a big role. When it comes from building trust and partnerships and relationships, we have established quite a number of memorandum of agreements with different partners and community members and not community organizations and partners. And we were able to bring some sort of relationship and trust with our communities and stakeholders. So I would say it has been a successful year.
Father's Day is on Sunday, Sharif. What are your plans?
Oh, was it tomorrow on Sunday?
Sunday.
Well, it's spend time with the family. That's the best I can do.
Well, thank you so much, Sharif Haji. We've taken enough of your time. I say we do this again. We've not been able to get to our questions, but for time, we have to move it on. Please have a beautiful evening, and thank you so much for coming on to the Yeg Show.
Thank you.